People deluded, I'm back again. Let's see what is concerning Arsenal Football Club with the transfer rumours. I know Arsenal fans, we want players signed. We obviously want some outgoings. Side note, but we're going to get into Smith Rowe. I do like the fact of a commonality you're seeing with some of our, bigger players that could command a bigger transfer fee, whether that's Ramsdale, Smith Rowe, or 50 million Freddie and Ketty is a bit mad. But I love the fact that Arsenal are playing hardball over some of these targets, because whether we rate these players or not, if the shoe was on the other foot and we was trying to buy these players, or they were at other clubs and other clubs were trying to buy them, they'd probably go for very good fees, more than potentially they're worth. Now, again, Ramsdale signed a new deal. Smith Rowe has 2 years left on his deal. Eddie Nketiah has recently signed a new deal. So it is a position of strength, it depending on how you look at it. But if you allow me to share my screen, we can stop rambling and get into everything. Now, first up is Eze, people, in which at the time of making this video, I actually did a tactical piece on Eze, so make sure you check that out. Now, I've gone over it in previous videos as well, but apparently Arsenal is seriously interested in signing Eze. However, pretty much every top club in Europe is looking at and considering the player, including Chelsea and Liverpool. It is Arsenal who are pushing the most for Eze right now. Now, I hope that is the case. I hope there's some credibility with that. Obviously, I'm sure Crystal Palace, not only want, there's some rumors that says he has a release clause. There's some that doesn't. If he does have a release clause, I'm sure they want that 60 million odd rumored paid in full, which could be tricky for Arsenal. Obviously, if they're open to doing business with add-ons and sign-on fees, the makeup of the deal might be very different to what Arsenal have in mind. I'm sure every top club is interested in Eze in the sense that if he ever became available, they would look to get a deal done. They like his talents, but that interesting word doesn't mean necessarily bidding for players, etc., etc. Eze would work a treat at Arsenal, people. Let me know your thoughts. Where Smith Rowe is concerned, allegedly, Fulham and Crystal Palace have both made contact with Arsenal regarding the availability of Emile Smith Rowe. Arsenal want above 40 million for the player, which could be an issue, probably because he's got 2 years left on his deal, can't buy first team football. You'd imagine Emile Smith Rowe is somewhat conflicted in that he wants to stay and push and, get back to that Smith Rowe when he first really announced himself and got the number 10 shirt off the back of that. But at the end of the day, minutes are currency. The last 2 years have been wasted, and it's a bit of a double-edged sword, because I would have liked Smith Rowe to get more opportunities. I definitely feel he could have, but at the same time, the club was performing and fighting for a league title, so the team was picking itself essentially. Really, it was better for the collective in many ways. If our form was shaky, kind of, the landscape of the club when Saka and Smith Rowe and even indirectly Martinelli got proper opportunities, you could extend that to Eddie, it'd be very different now. And another thing is Smith Rowe's actually been fit for large parts of last season. He's just not been utilised. You would have seen, Smith Rowe, I believe Odegaard's en route, Benjamin White, Reece Nelson, a couple of our players, Timber, a couple of our players that are not participating for their countries at the Euros have joined Mikel Arteta for almost a pre-season or a mini sort of pre-season over in Marbella. So hopefully, Smith Rowe stays, in my opinion. But if not, if you're going to get 40 odd million, which apparently rejected in January, I'm all for that, really and truly. And it does go down as 100% profit. Charles Watts has spoken on Smith Rowe, and he said, I think we'll find out a bit more about Smith Rowe's situation soon. A final decision on his future has not yet been made, but discussions are going on, which could make things clearer soon. My expectation is still that he will leave and that he will stay in the Premier League. That is certainly his preference. Fulham are one of the clubs who are understood to be interested. Fulham, you took 4 points of us. You're definitely needed to play a premium. Nothing has been decided yet. My understanding is that there's still an acceptance on the player's side that he now needs to move. He loves Arsenal, but he wants to play. And, I hope we sign a central midfielder. And again, Mikel Arteta, it depends where he sees him, because he can play off the left. That's Trossard and Martinelli now. The left-sided 8, he has been given opportunities, but not really enough to showcase his talent. And undoubtedly, we need another midfielder. For the squad, Smith Rowe is perfect. But for him, you need to go and play. Your career's been stagnated. I don't know if he would have been called up to Gareth Southgate's squad, but he's been capped before. And if his form was to the standard of, or anything reminiscent of, a Foden, a Cole Palmer, or Anthony Gordon and Eze, he might have been on the plane with the Euros, joining Ramsdale, Declan Rice, and obviously Bukayo Saka, and his stock's fallen. He's got 2 years left on his deal, so either a decision has been made or not made. It's very, our number 10's got 2 years left on his deal, so I think a decision has been made or not been made in that regards. Team News and Tix has said, I've always been told that between Tomiyasu, White and Timber, they're seen as Saliba cover. I've been told the left side is more something Arsenal are going to look at if they can. If a defender comes in, it'll be a left-sided one, which raises the question: what happens with Kirill, Zinchenko? Obviously, Timber and Tomiyasu can play all across the back four, and we know we need. We did well to keep Gabriel Saliba and Benjamin White fit, and we need to play them and keep that stability. But there are times we need rotation and different options and different requirements. The fixture list is very compact and condensed. We've been linked with PSV's Johan Bakayoko, who I did a tactical video on. Arsenal have inquired about PSV winger Bakayoko, but there's certainly no offer made yet. The player will finish Euro 2024 before deciding his future. We have been linked previously with Osman Diomande. Team News and Ticks has said, I've never heard Osman Diamande's name from anyone at Arsenal. He would cost a premium, although he can play right back. It will cost a premium. It's almost like when we're linked with Delete, Gurhi, and obviously him. I can't see Arsenal spending significant on another centre half when you've got Saliba and Gabriel. Like you, I've never heard that Diomande is at all anything serious for Arsenal. We were linked with him back in his days at his previous club to Sporting. Charles Watts has spoken on Nico Williams. Arsenal are admirers of Nico Williams, but so are plenty of the other top clubs across Europe. On paper, the release clause of around 50 million looks a very appealing one, but as far as I'm aware, it's not as simple as that. You have to remember that release clauses in Spain have to be paid in full, and that makes deals very expensive as clubs can't spread the transfer fee out, as we saw with Thomas Partey signing for us, over the length of the contract like they usually do. But in Williams' case, the wages are also understood to be a pretty significant issue. So we'd have to pay 50 million up front. He's on 200 grand a week. You probably likely, if his agent's doing the right thing, you see an uplift if you join Arsenal, Chelsea, Barcelona, or whatever. It's a significant investment. And do Arsenal necessarily have the budget? Is it financially prudent? These are questions I can't answer. Athletic Club are big payers. They have to be to ensure they keep their team together, given the unique way the club operates. William is on good money, and the word is that interested clubs have been surprised by the wages he would want to move this summer. Arsenal are good payers, but they have a wage bill that they have worked hard to get in check in recent years, so they won't do anything stupid and undo that hard work. For Arsenal to immediately make him one of their highest earners would be a risk because it would unsettle the squad a little bit. I mean, ultimately, if they think he's up, an upgrade and he can help us deliver Premier League trophies and whatnot, then you pay the money and it's backed up. We've seen with Kai Havertz, which everyone was at university on board, and we've seen with Declan Rice. And naturally, I wouldn't say it disrupts the squad because it's got nothing to do with them. Handle what you need to handle on a football pitch. Arsenal have shown, you will get improved deals if you do your job. But naturally, if Nico Williams comes in, if you're Bukayo Saka, Saliba, Odegaard, these kind of players, you're telling your agent and your agent's keeping a note. So when maybe in the next 18 months or so, if you lot sign improved deals, you're bearing in mind what this guy's doing, assuming they're all doing what they're currently doing on the football pitch. Nuno Tavares, I don't want to see you at Arsenal, but my priority is to return to Arsenal. Is it your priority, or is it what you're contractually obligated to do? After that, only the future will tell. Everyone knows that I have a year left on my contract. There have been a few approaches, but I'll leave it to whoever is in charge of my future. He's got a year. Lokonga's got a year plus the option of another one. Young Mika Beref has one, as well as Charlie Patino. So these are players that could bring some money into the club. And that's when you factor in Tierney and Ketia, Reece Nelson, Emile Smith-Rowe, and the list keeps going on, really. You imagine the club would be receptive to offers, maybe if it whets the appetite where Partey, Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko are concerned. But I don't think those names will quite be forced out. It seems like all the journalists unanimously agree that we're looking at addressing left back. I'm a big fan of Ricardo Calavori. People, apparently Basel will be due 40% of any transfer fee that Bologna get, and his stocks are rising during the Euros. I'm a big fan of Dani Olmo. Apparently Barcelona and Manchester City are fighting for his signing, so another one bites the dust. Onana has been linked with Bayern Munich people, and apparently they're considering switching their attentions to Everton's Onana as it proves difficult to sign João Paulinho. That's another man that's obviously been linked with us. Victor Rowe was linked with us before he signed for Barcelona. Apparently he's got a 30 million euro fixed fee that they could seek. That could be something for us. Kimmich is always linked with Arsenal, and apparently a separation between Joshua Kimmich and Bayern is getting closer now or next year at the latest. Kimmich would be ready to go into the final year of his contract, which at 29 could be something smart. Kimmich only wants to join Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, Real Madrid or Barcelona. I think all of these clubs will be interested in you. I think Real Madrid wouldn't be against you, but you'd probably have to run down your deal for them. Barcelona's struggling financially. They do have Hansi Flick. Liverpool, you'd be a great signing. The chance to reunite and play under Pep Guardiola as well as in the Premier League would, arouse the interest of joining Manchester City. And it's nice to see my football club, Arsenal, kind of mentioned. We've gone over Nico Williams before, people, but I think every article kind of agrees it's the wages and probably the upfront cost or the outlay upfront that could put a spanner in the works for the 21-year-old Bilbao winger. Nonetheless, this says Arsenal and Liverpool are still in the race for him, people. We're looking at backup right wingers for Bukayo Saka. Once again, we've been linked with Bakayoko of PSV. He would allegedly cost 45 million euros, which I don't think is groundbreaking. Chelsea apparently have made an inquiry for Isaac. I mean, I know we ain't got the pockets they have, but can we get involved in inquiries? Doesn't mean signing the player, but you get the point. Liverpool are continuing the pursuit of Lenny Yoro, who, as a player, if there was money going ahead, you know, the 18-year-old, I think he's, you know, the next big thing out of France defensively, if I'm honest with you. And I'd love him at the carpet, as I would with Jarell Hatto. And I know Sesko was terrible for England, but against England, sorry, but him as well. Again, Isaac is still being linked with moves away. Newcastle were adamant that he won't be moved on. So with that being said, people, let me know your thoughts on everything discussed. Rest assured, if there's any other content or notable talking points, I'll get vids out for you lot. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and make sure your notification bells are on for the rest of the content. Appreciative to you lot. Stay safe, stay blessed. Let me know what you think. Peace.